Hi everyone, it's Jampot, and it looks like we might be doing kind of a weird run. Okay, I've trash talked Dragon Mother a lot. Let's see if I'm right. So the reason why I don't think that this captain's particularly impressive, oops, what? Okay, is that um, I think that in when you're first starting to play the game, nobody knows anything, right? So like just having an epic is great. It's probably bigger and kind of might do something more powerful than other people, and you just this captain looks fantastic. You just got a free epic, right? Like at a important time. But the downside to Mysterious Egg isn't just the shop that you spent on it, it's the fact that it's sitting on your board, and that's still real with Dragon Mother. For two fights where like three fights that it does like nothing in, but like two fights where it's fighting for a slot. Um, and then the second thing is that like once you get to a stage where people learn how to either build functional boards or understand that they're not building, like by functional I mean like they can hope to fight and win. Um, sorry, you don't have to win to be functional, but you a functional board is one that isn't getting full-hearted. Let's say it that way. Um, and a lot of the time, like the way to not get full-hearted is to set up so that you have a realistic shot at winning, and then if you fight someone actively strong, you can hope to, find some acceptable result after that. Um, and once people start doing that, that epic has to be specific. You can't just like get something and expect it to go anywhere. Um, so that's kind of my issue with Dragon Mother. With that in mind, let's try and get it so that we have a couple epics that if we see them on turn 7, we're okay buying them. And if we see them on uh, turn 5, we're like, oh, well, this is threatening, right? So that doesn't include stuff like Mirror Mage, in my opinion, even though like it gives you more time to finish its quest, your spells are terrible at that point. Um, he's supposed to be amplifying things that are worth doing. Like a triple Presence of Gaia is not it. Or pick a peck of peppers or whatever. Um, if we did want to try and do something with mages, I think that we could make something maybe like that happen. Although Crystal's kind of the same thing, right? Like you kind of just want to buy this in a shop when you have like when it's your fourth mage and you have three treasures, I think is like a pretty like conceivable and extremely efficient use of a shop to get like this really powerful treasure. Um, I don't know that you want it just like sitting around as a 9/6 forever while you're kind of setting that up, but maybe that's not that long. Innkeeper's actually really powerful. I'm going to put Innkeeper in on spec and then we'll kind of look at our other hunts and see if we can assemble something that makes sense. Maybe Francis Drake too with that in line, although I wasn't playing this character when like other people thought it was good. And I don't it certainly hasn't gotten better. But things aren't good in a vacuum, right? They work when they need to work. Because we don't really know what our like game plan is, I'm a little bit more reluctant to like choose niche legendaries and build off of them. And also maybe let's not jump ahead too much to legendary because I think that like we'll have something to do on those turns regardless. Let's figure out what we're doing on our early turns. Basically, if there's something like actively exciting for us to be doing. The powerful things that you want to be able to click on when they show up in shops that I can think of right now. Um, Lance a little if that's what you're doing. Oh, Missouri seems excellent here. Um, Wink, very powerful but narrow. Huntsman, very powerful, much less narrow, probably worth considering. Not doing Donkey, it's kind of like on theme in that like it's leapfrogging, but once you've already put yourself behind in order to get ahead, you don't want to do that again. You want to use your momentum to push forward, right? Mechanical Dragon is okay if we're trying to like just accumulate treasures. Mr. Fox, not that hard to set up, very, very powerful, great with Huntsman. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this unit, but it can do some pretty powerful things. Um, I mean, Mysterio is not a good thing to hit off of our egg, but I kind of like Mysterio. It's been fun. But it's not the pick. Would I hate picking up a Wicked Witch? I would. I want momentum. I don't want stability so much. Okay. Innkeeper, some conflict with Huntsman, but also some synergy in that, like, if we don't find the Huntsman and we're trying to, like, have a couple hunts, Innkeeper could do something. But in general, stuff like this, I'm a little bit wary of. Adding something to the pool that often is like anti-synergy is a problem when you only get to have so many shops where you don't do anything. With what we've got, oh my God, is it time? I think it might be time. Okay, so we're joining the dark side. We're doing Huntsman Hercules. With that in mind, what do we need to make that work? This is where like, you know, knowing what like a meta deck looks like instead of just trying to like organically build it from like first principles is going to be a problem. Looking at this deck, hero, hero, oh, that's got to get back in. Makes sense to me. I could just run a conventional, like, dragon endgame, but I actually think that this makes a little bit more sense. We don't need pirates strictly, but it's not impossible that we would like a few of them. Can kind of see an argument for Sailor Moonshine even, because a lot of the pirates are just like reasonable tempo in the tier that it exists in, and then the next tier. And then around like Epic is when you start to get the pirates that like are quite hungry for resources, but they pay you off like immensely for them. Maverick and Icewing is not inconceivable with both, like with Missaria, Natural Treasures, Mr. Fox. If we see it later when we already have this going, it makes sense. Yeah, yeah, I'm into it. One, two, three quest characters. There's a couple more. I guess the idea with Rolo is that like turn 5, we get our epic. So one of our board slots is hopefully like reasonably powerful. We can maybe buy Rolo and use that to go somewhere. Not doing Sarmina. I'm already questioning this Innkeeper, but I think Innkeeper has like a lot more potential. It's like I kind of want to put Black Hole in because I think that like this is an effect that I basically I really okay, I'm gonna go on a little tangent. I really like how scam is implemented in this game, even though scam is always a little bit like um you really don't want it to be too strong, right? And it's also like it's much weaker without scouting. But I think that's kind of it. It's like there's no because the numbers can get like to total nonsense, right? It's nice that like scam is available, but usually scam's always like a little bit awkward, and black hole is like just safe, you know. But it costs you a deck slot, and deck slots are in theory quite tight, you know, once you've got everything going. Um, is there another legendary that I can see here where I would like just see it and be like, oh, thank you. Like, like Beard is kind of the main one that I'm looking at. Otherwise, not so much. People who are like experienced with this kind of thing are like yelling at their screens, being like, why are you not just putting in, I don't know. That's the thing, like I just don't know, right? Like, uh, oh, Toady. Toady makes sense here. Yeah, I would buy this on any turn that it showed up, as far as I can see, and be like, okay, well, it was not a bad shot. We need something that fights. Uh, Glory Seeker I kind of like, but also I wouldn't mind picking this up so that maybe we can pick up either a Puck or a Thorn to make our egg functional. No, but so there's two reasons to put this. First, I can put the egg here now, and one attack is a world of difference. Um, I'm gonna take this. This I'm never quite sure about, but I think you want to do it. Don't think that's super tough, just wanted to think about it for a second. Despicable Me kind of works with a lot of what we're trying to do, actually. But I think at the... Mm, like, this actually has okay stats if it attacks, and it should attack. 6 health is a lot for this stage. I would really like to hit Huntsman. A little bit risky putting this here, because 6 health is not necessarily enough to survive everything that this, like, turn can present you with, and then if this, like, eats a 6-1, we would so much rather have had this here, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, it's like you kind of have to have like a board that you didn't want to have because you shouldn't be pushing to 6 attack yet when it's not useful to be doing that. Okay, I'm definitely interested in this Tink. Just because like throwing some numbers on this in the next 2 fights, even +2/+2, and then it gives us something to do if we pick up some Fey buffs, but I'm not enthused about it. 4/4 versus 3/6, I don't really think Ahab's gonna hunt there either, but it's not that I'm in love with this Puss in Boots or anything like this. It's just it does actually matter to like rack up a few hunts to charge up your Blackbeard if you can, and I thought that it had a chance. But given that it hasn't gotten anything so far, I think maybe now is the turn to just be like, okay, well, Ahab's awkward right now. Maybe we can get a few stats on it and then move it back later once we don't want this Tink. What if we did something like this? Pyrat here? No. I think we just still... It's not like +1/+1 is so big either. Tricky. Could also Twinkle Twinkle. You know, if we find a just playable rare in the next phase, I think these stats are still relevant, especially if that's something that hunts that, you know, really appreciates having a boost. But if we see another shop that's full of like random nonsense, I'm gonna feel really dumb having wasted 2 shops on that. The question is, can we expect to get anything real out of this Pyrat? Like if let's say it attacks, let's say everything goes right. It attacks, it hunts, it attacks as a 5/3, its slot goes up to a 3/2. That really doesn't sound like anything to me. Yeah, I'm liking how this looks more. Go left. that's fine. Ooh. Okay. Both of these are really interesting. I really think that this is it though, right? Like sets up any pirate we have to activate this multiple times. So goodbye Tink then. Oh, I wonder if Tink had bigger stats. Maybe it was supposed to go here. I think I'd really like this to... Wow, okay. So, you know, I think let's go through why this is so impressive, because that's like a big divergence from what I was saying, where I think that this thing doesn't, like this captain doesn't work. Um, you know, let's see, like, first of all, this is golden, which is not going to happen all the time. Um, and then second, we managed to hit one of the things that we put into our deck, which like really means that like we know that it's working with our game plan. Um, and neither of those things is guaranteed to happen by any means. Let's think about what worked though. We put something into our deck that instantly spiked us right when we hit it, which is what we were trying to do, and not something that like was gonna like stabilize us or like help us scale, like Pisces or something like that, you know? Like, not this clearly does help us scale, but okay, lots and lots and lots of options. Like throughout. We're not True Love's Kissing here. I wonder if we should toady, but I don't think so. I think let's just try and find more pirates if we can, maybe. Shoemaker's Elves. So the other thing is that like this Innkeeper right now, gigantic buff, a little bit frail. I wonder what we can pick up to make this Daisy Jones work. I always want to make it work. Seems okay. Like, if this Anne Bunny, what it did was charge up this Innkeeper, perfectly fine. If it gets one more hunt in from anywhere to charge this, also perfectly fine. We're almost shipshape. It's not out of the question for us to Huntsman. This boost is huge. But do we need to Huntsman from this point, or would we rather just use our Innkeeper to set up Blackbeard, put Herc somewhere else? I think that sounds like a better use of our space that we have in our shop, on our board. I'll take a Stinky just in case. Ooh, okay. So I was leaving in Daisy Jones because I just think that that unit is cool. But yeah, like 84 really should not die. But if they have a Mr. Fox or whatever, or somehow kill our Innkeeper first, I can take damage. And I really just don't want to miss out on this gigantic buff. So unnecessary. Like it's a little bit of a shame to like get rid of functionally two shops for this, because like we lost our two-headed wizard and we're losing this, and I don't think we need it by any means to get through this fight. But I guess I would play two spells that gave 50-50 roughly to things. Um, and that's what like holding on to the Angelica buff to put it on something real does. Not that Jasmine Dragon works with what we're doing per se, but it's strong enough for now. Oh, cute. Love to see it. Oh wow, okay. Kind of just want to pick up a huge snapping hydra, but a huge robin is just safer, right? Like just easier to work with. I wonder if I should just do this here. It makes a lot of sense to me. We're just not hitting treasures, and this is much more it. Scar, really big. Wonder if it's time to go off of this. Just, yeah. Well, it's not like we want this in the front. This is big enough to survive on the front line for whatever that's worth. Classic position 3 ranged character. Okay, we can also move off of this Angelica. It's just not too late for this Scar. Is it even better than this? Yeah. Blackbeard's a villain, and at the end of the day, like, once we find a Blackbeard, we need to make sure that a Blackbeard is functional. I do think that Angelica's pretty close to not hunting, and if it misses once, that's okay, I guess. We'll eventually be able to move this innkeeper somewhere else, but for now, we certainly can't. We don't need this guard. It's the weakest of them. I just think it was not terrible to do that last job. Okay, I guess, yeah, this is fine. There it is. Now Angelica, this is tricky. I guess in order for Angelica to be good from here, we'd have to be hitting specifically basically the things that are already on our board. Everything else that we find in shops we can't really make use of. And I think this is fine. These numbers are big enough to put Hercules on front. Kind of like that Punxsutawney Phil is just dragging this fight on, because I think we might get another hunt or two off of because out of this fight because of that. I thought about putting Scar. I guess Angelica is still like, that's a ton of hunts that we can get off of it. I just think that we don't need to be doing more than that, and it's like, what would we even put it on? It's better than Shadowmancer at this point, I think. No, I'm gonna go a little bit greedy here, but I don't know if that's correct. That's sure is something. We could really use some treasures. Your positioning is gonna be awkward when you have 4 hunts on your board, like, and a support. I'm not. I just don't think we're there yet where this can. Yeah, we certainly weren't. Yeah, I mean, it's just too many stats. Like, whatever we pick up from here, we can kind of like figure out a way to make it good. That's okay. I don't care about this like treasure stuff. I'd rather just like infinitely steal our opponents. I think I think let's do this so that this is in a better place. Okay. I guess we'll just hope that this Mr. Fox does its thing. It's just yeah, uh not pretty, but like we had a lot of there were a lot of screenshots that I could have taken if where I would have looked back and been like, why? But I guess sort of. I'm so much more okay with this kind of thing happening. You know, like these numbers look like they make sense for here, and of course they're about to go out of hand, but from here on where it's okay, I guess, maybe. Like this Blackbeard's very far from hunting consistently. We had to put a lot of work into it. Um, okay. I guess what I'm thinking is that like I find Hercules to be like in a little bit of a weird place where I don't really like some of the situations that it puts you in, but I don't think that it's like overpowered by any means because like it does take a ton of setup. I do think that Huntsman Axe is a little bit Huntsman Axe Hercules specifically is a little bit of a problem, but Blackbeard Hercules is what like especially with Huntsman's Axe is what presents like is also capable of presenting like unbeatable boards. Um, yeah, okay. I'll just have to like kind of incorporate this into my general sense as I do more of it because yeah, kind of cool. We ran two things that I don't usually rate and they worked well enough even with the inexperience. Thanks for watching. Bye.